Hello everyone, it's me Clayson. I just got back from watching episode 5 of season 4 of The Boys. So, now that Hughie's dad has gotten Compound V in his blood, it initially seems like he's going to be, getting better. But turns out giving Compound V to someone who is brain dead is not a good idea, considering that not only is he gaining powers that are totally out of his control, he's accidentally killing people in the process of trying to get used to them. On top of that, Vought has their big convention, V52, where they get to announce more projects, such as streaming shows and movies for the Vought cinematic universe than the MCU usually does. And on top of that, Butcher uses the knowledge he gained from Gen V in order to find a lab that's full of a virus that can kill superheroes. He's basically seeing this as his big, desperate final move to try and prevent Homelander from taking over the country. But unfortunately, he has to go through a bunch of super-powered animals to get to the virus. That's what happens when you test on animals, people, especially when it comes to Compound V, if it ever existed in real life. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of carnage and a lot of crazy, bloody violence that you'd expect from the boys, but it also feels like the characters are really going somewhere that I figured they would. For example, Ryan actually forces Adam to get slapped over and over again. It's not fun to see Bolin's voice actor getting slapped, but since he's supposed to be basically this show's version of Zack Snyder or directors of that caliber, it's kind of funny to watch it, especially since his personal assistant gets to do it. And on top of that, Vought finds out who the mole is who's been screwing up their operations. Turns out it's this show's Tucker Carlson XP, Cameron Coleman, which causes Homelander to decide that the Seven are no longer going to be beloved celebrities, but instead wrathful gods. So yeah, his superhero supremacist ideology has gotten to the point where he's going into cold-blooded murder for his other members to engage in as well. And on top of that, Gen V also has another reference, since Sam and Kate from that show up here. And it's very likely that one of them is going to take up the final spot of the Seven, since that was offered to Marie Monroe at the end of Gen V that ultimately never happened. So yeah, there are a few plot points that are generally reserved for Gen V, and if you haven't seen that show, I do recommend it. It's actually a really good series. But it's a good way of introducing the spin-offs concept into the main show to make it feel, worthwhile and connected. And on top of that, it also gives Butcher a way to, do a desperate final solution to his problems for Homelander's stuff, while he also still gets to be constantly going through the lines between a protagonist and an antagonist. Similar to Butcher from the comics, but done in a way that's, a lot more well written. I still hope they don't go through the comics events that led to Butcher trying to kill off every other member of the boys after his mission is complete, because that ending also felt like it came out of nowhere and it felt like it destroyed any last interest I had in Butcher as a character. But considering how many things are different from the comic and the show that's been the way ever since the first season, I doubt it's going to go in that direction. Plus, this episode does give us more Giancarlo Esposito as Stan Edgar, since he tags along for Butcher and Mother's Milk and Frenchie's mission, and Kimiko's. And yeah, more Giancarlo Esposito is always a plus. So, yeah, I really liked this episode. It looks like it's going to build up to something really creative and bloody and disturbing in the next episode, and who knows, maybe Ryan will even become a secondary antagonist given how Homelander is treating him now. We'll see. See you next time.